Hi, everyone. Welcome to another amazing topic of conversation. I want to thank my sponsors, the Health Channel and South Florida PBS. Please join their newsletter for anything regarding your health benefits. And if you need an office, Alexa's Workspaces can help you with that, even if it's just for an hour or a month. She will be able to accommodate. And Hermosa Mujer, if you want to become your own entrepreneur, if you want to dive into being your own entrepreneur and have a virtual boutique. So, Dr. Francois, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me. I was honored to be invited to speak at the symposium for mentorship. I know
Yeah,
that you came to me 2 years ago, and I was so happy that most people have a vision, but normally after 6 months or something, they all quit. And you
right.
didn't, and you made it
Yes.
happen.
We made it happen. Yes. And you were part of the original committee. I just want to share this. I don't know if you can see this.
Because of your background, just put it on, put it there. Yes. Okay.
So the day of the vision, I have this sticky on my in my office was June the 10th, 2023.
Oh, wow. So it's almost 2 years, but
Yeah, so ups and downs, disconnects. And we started again, you were part of this first committee back at Grace. We met I think a couple of times, and then as life would happen, we went different ways, but the vision never stopped, and including you as part of that vision was always a part of the plan. So I'm glad that you were still able to help me fulfill that vision. So I do thank you, Gladys.
no, it was really a nice experience because all the symposiums and all the conferences for nonprofits is literally about raising money or something, but yours was very dedicated on how to advance mentorship.
Yes, ma'am.
Why? Why was the part of mentorship so important to you?
Because, when I originally got this vision, I was mentoring for maybe 10, 15 years. I know a lot of organizations that mentor the same population. And we were I'd say, although we did as much as we can, our kids were still falling short of our goal, or we were not impacting as many kids as I thought we should be. And when I went around to different programs and organizations, they all faced the same issues: lack of funding, uh, they were getting drained, and that's one of the sessions where was the body keep score. You can't pour from an empty cup. We hear that cliche all the time. They were tired. We talked about funding. We talked about loving themselves. Your session, loving themselves more. How can you love a mentee if you don't love yourself? So, those are some of the issues that some of these organizations were going through. How to mentor, how to recruit, but funding was definitely the main one. So I thought, instead of I, working in silos, why don't we come together? Why don't we get together on a day and figure out how to better improve? If you're doing great with mental health and mentorship, maybe you can share some of your strategies with some of the other organizations. If you're doing great with funding, if you get grants every time one is released, what is your secret? Maybe you can share that. Now, there are some challenges where some organizations they want to keep everything to themselves. But I was able to convince everyone that it's not a competition. You know, we're
No,
yeah, we're all
it
here for
was
the same goal is to improve in the lives of our youth. And for the most part, a majority of the organizations they agreed And that was the vision, to collaborate, to come together, to improve what we're doing, to scale it up, and to provide relief. You know, you're not in this alone. We're not in it. Let's do it together. Let's reestablish that village. So that was the vision.
So I talked a lot about collaboration
Hmm.
because that's what we need.
Yes,
That's what we did when we met at Grace, that we collaborated together. And some of the girls of Grace are still coming back to
that's
the
great.
program.
That's
But
great.
for example, I talk to a lot of people and we're not asking for money. We just want to partner at the Power of the Heel, especially with Loving Me More. We
Right.
just want to partner with other organizations. And really, it's not about the money.
It's not, because you'll be able to impact more lives through collaboration. So
Correct.
it's a win-win, with the organizations.
So, what was the biggest takeaway that you got from the symposium?
That there is a willingness of organizations to work together. I don't think this has ever been, I mean, it's been discussed, the we as an ecosystem in South Florida, like us coming together. But there was always some organization. You have some big organizations like Big Brother, Big Sister, 5,000 Role Models. Many of these organizations who have funding out of the roof, they don't need to collaborate. It was great to see that they attended. They understand that even with million-dollar budgets and multi-million dollar budgets, it still benefits their organization to collaborate with even a small organization like myself or like Power of the Hills. So that was my biggest takeaway, is the willingness.
To collaborate.
Yes.
So, I guess you have your hands full on all the follow up now.
Oh wow, it's the calls have been coming in. When is the next collabor? The great thing is each session has taken on a life of its own. And I'm hoping that Loving Me More is, so we're going to follow up with each session. So we had a mentoring boys session. They have already started their own collective group and they have
Okay.
a monthly meeting date, every month, because all of the different organizations are going to have a lunch meeting once a month to work together on issues that impact boys. So we're hoping that every session can take a life of its own, and collaborate through the different mentorship organizations that was there. So
So
that was,
now you need to do the girl side of it.
of course.
So
Well,
we
there
can
was
become
one.
part of it.
No, there was one, Loving Black and Brown Girls. I don't know if you noticed that session.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
well,
not from here, but maybe you can take that lead, and collaborate, because we had a number of young ladies mentoring organizations that was there. Um, So I will share that. I will definitely share. I will share your information with each other, and then you guys can collaborate. And I would
I
love,
was very happy to see one of my girls helping
yes,
you.
yes. She's one of my favorite. Ever since at Grace, she wants things to do. So I give her community service hours when she comes and helps us out.
But that is what it's all about.
Yes,
That is what it's all about. Mentoring one person at a time and changing the way they do this.
yes,
I remember when she walked in the first time 5 years ago on the program, they all looked down with the hoodie
yes.
and they didn't want to talk to anyone. And now, as soon as she sees me, she comes in and gives
She
me a
is
big
so
hug. And she's so confident and
She
she's
is.
so outgoing. She's going to college.
Yes, she is. She graduates next month. She is definitely one of your success stories. Tykeria has come
Yes.
a long way. She's come a long way. So kudos to Power of the Hills and Loving Me More.
No, those are the stories behind everything that happens in mentorship.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
And mentorship is really important. It goes beyond just giving someone a hand. It's
right.
really showing that you care.
It is.
Because
And
I think that a lot of organizations that are so big, it's like they create a program, but they don't follow up.
right,
And that is the problem with us, the small organizations that actually care. So it's like balancing those. And I've
right,
tried to meet with them, like, okay, how can we do things together? But like you said, some people don't believe in collaboration. Some people don't want to share what they do. They think that, oh, if I collaborate with you, you're going to take away my grant.
right.
And it's not about that.
And they don't understand that many funding organizations, they would prefer collaboration. You know,
Correct.
if you look in some of the applications, they recommend that you seek other organizations. So that is a benefit to the organizations to collaborate. So those are some of the things we're going to follow up on. We did have a strategies for funding nonprofit organizations. One of those, it was a session. He had a great session. His room was full.
I know it was next to mine. I knew I couldn't compete with funding.
So I do apologize. That was
No,
the
no.
challenge. That was the challenge we had. Like, how do we know this session is going to be immensely popular. We know your session is immensely important for our girls, so those are some when we have a debrief on Friday, trying to figure out how to ensure that everyone attends every session is what we're
I
going
was
to.
very happy because I had a almost full room
Yes,
considering
you did. And the commission,
considering that on the next door it was funding.
yes. The councilwoman, like she said, she stepped into your session and she loved it. Yes, so the councilwoman of Miami Gardens, she said she stepped in for a few minutes, which was
It is
awesome.
a challenge. It is really a challenge, and I'm gonna tell you something that moving forward, and my next question to you is what comes next?
Okay, what comes next? Again, we're gonna flesh out each session and try to have a segment on their own. So again, through a collaboration with the presenters, let's say Loving Me More, we would want to put that as an individual session or workshop for the girls in our community. So
Okay.
instead of having it as part as a larger symposium, let's continue that conversation. Your the PowerPoint you sent me was I told you it was amazing. Let's flesh it out. Let's continue. Let's make it a series. I'm not for one timers because you have to with especially with our youth, you have to be consistent. You have to be committed. They have to know that it's not a one-time thing.
But I'm gonna tell you, our biggest challenge is not even the program and it's not even the girls. It's actually the parents.
Oh my God. That's a
That
whole other segment.
is
That's a
our
entire
biggest challenge. Like, yes, they want the girls and the boys to become successful,
right.
financially independent, and the whole thing, but they are not getting, they are not helping, and we cannot do this alone.
Right, and I'm going to share an article, op-ed I wrote about the parents and lack of accountability because I face the same challenge. We provide a number of programs for our youth, our boys. Twice a month we meet. The boys want to come, but it's the parents. The parents, they're not committed to getting these kids to these resources and programs. And we only meet twice a month, to get these parents to
I
bring
meet once a month.
you
Imagine.
meet once a month. Yeah. In my car just smells like kids because I have to because I want them there, I have to go and pick up these kids and I have to drop them off because we are committed, but we want the same commitment from the parents. And I don't bite my tongue. I tell the parents, we just lost Tai Chi. We had a Tai Chi program running for 2 months. The kids loved it. but the instructor came from Coral Springs twice a month. And we started off with 20 boys, and then the parents started feeling that it wasn't important enough, so they wouldn't bring.
Correct, that it is not important, but they don't see the value.
They don't. It's a
They
whole
don't see the value of the whole social interaction.
exactly,
I
exactly.
am gonna tell you another story. There was a girl that when they came to me that they wanted to do a college tour, and Tigeria was part of that, that we
Right,
helped them go to the college tour. I followed up with all of them after
right.
they came back to see what happened. And one of the girls, I said, where are you applying? And she said, no, I'm not applying. My family decided that I need to stay home and take care of my grandmother.
Oh my God. I
So
know. I think I know what.
she is a brilliant girl. So
Brilliant. Brilliant.
how how do you fight with that? Yes, she graduated, but now, and she has the desire to go to college, and I know that there are grants there, there's scholarships.
Right, right. I recommended Miami-Dade to start. Let's start at Miami-Dade. Let's start at Broward College. You don't
Correct. There's so many places that they can
right,
actually have a degree. The other one I called and she said, oh, no, it's gonna take me 2 years. That's too much time to get a degree in cosmetology. And I said, what are you doing now? She's working at Walmart for $15 an hour.
she was bright
But
as well.
she's gonna be stuck there because it's only 2 years. And I said, you know how long it takes a doctor to become a doctor?
Right. Yeah. You just hurt my heart, Gladys. Oh, those two young ladies held a special place in my heart and very brilliant, very intelligent, had a future. But that's why mentorship doesn't stop. And I'm glad.
Correct. You have
Oh,
to, but the problem is, and I hope that if you share this and that if they're watching, is the girls cannot do them, the boys cannot do it themselves. We
right.
need the collaboration of the parents.
Exactly.
Some
So,
of the
so,
other things
so
that
you
we
asked me what's next, and I'm glad you brought up the parents because after one of my sessions it was a health and wellness session for the boys. We had, experts in the field there, and a question came about parent how we're raising our kids today in today's society, and the parenting question came up, and one of the parents, let's say our age, said he thinks that parents lack accountability. Parents are not as committed, and it was an opinion, but it was an opinion that sparked a lot a controversial. It was a lot of conversation, a lot of back and forth, and I said, you know what? That'll be our next session. Let's talk about parenting. Let's talk
I
about
don't think it's about lack of accountability.
what do
I
you
found
think?
out something else.
What do you think? Share.
I think is if I'm okay how I am, my daughter is gonna be okay. She's not, and some of them, it's like a fighting that your daughter is not gonna be better than you, that they're
Mm,
gonna feel less if your daughter
wow.
becomes more.
Wow, I never saw it that way.
Okay, that is what been, because I'm gonna give you a small example. 2 years ago, we found out the girls asked me if I could take them to the beach.
Hmm.
And some of the girls have never been in the beach.
You
We're
believe
living in Florida.
you believe that? I have the
And
same experience with my boys, so go ahead.
so we live in Florida, and it doesn't matter where you live on South Florida. It's, I guess, 45 minutes if you live really west, 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 that
Right,
you get to a beach, a public beach, which doesn't cost anything.
right.
And when we said, okay, let's go, I know it was a big responsibility. I'm not gonna sugar coated, but I was very scared. And some of the girls said, my mother doesn't let me go because I don't know how to swim.
I've heard that also.
And I said, it's not a problem because you're not going like far away. We're just going to the beach. You're just like going there. And we had, I think it was like one grown up for two girls that were going. Like I needed to be very confident that we made this happen.
Right.
And one of the moms called me and she said, I've never taken my daughters because I don't know how to swim. And if they go to the beach and they like it, I'm not going to be able to take them.
Oh, wow.
So that's when we went back and we looked at the whole thing of some
Yes.
of the mothers that
Yes.
really don't want them to go because they don't want their girls to advance more than them and look down on them.
That's a sad commentary.
But I was raised, I was raised that you have to surpass your parents.
Of course. And your parents want you to
And
surpass.
your parents want you to do that. They want you to be better than them, be a better version of them. So I think that is your next conversation.
Wow. Well, that's going to be a part of the whole conversation because I've just been waiting for the symposium to be done and because like you said, that is the frustrating part for many organs, the parenting piece. If you don't have if your parents aren't partnering with you in
You're not gonna get.
you're not going to move because we could teach them all of the skills, financial literacy, self-esteem, etiquette. If it's not followed up at home, similar to educators, if they they'll teach you something that's if the parents don't support education at home, it's a waste of time. So I'm looking at it from a holistic perspective, like you, and I love what you do. You include your parents in your sessions as well. That is
We
excellent. That
welcome the mothers. Yes,
Yes. So
we
that's what's,
welcome the mothers.
yeah, we have to look at the family dynamic as well. So when we're having intake or one-on-one with the boys, we need the parent. And unfortunately for my boys, it's a lot of single moms. It's
Correct.
hard.
It's a lot of single moms,
Right.
and that's what we also find. But if the moms, we found out that some of the moms said, can we stay?
Wow.
And we saw that they were sharing with their daughters. So in that way, we're bridging that part. You're learning
Yes.
something that I don't know. We're gonna learn together.
Yes. Yes. I think that's the key. That's the
That's
model.
the key to learning together,
Yeah.
but it takes a village.
It
Like
takes,
if it wasn't for the two, I called them my angels, Dr. B
oh yes.
and and Ginger, that they pick up the girls and bring them.
Yes. Yes.
That they
I
drive
tried
the
it.
bus if the bus driver did not make it.
Right. So yeah, it's that piece. And I stopped. That's why I don't think you stayed for this session. We used to say, oh, these kids, this generation, these kids are this.
No,
It's not. They face so much, and sometimes they
no,
want, and
no,
it's the
it is not
circumstance.
this generation.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sorry
got to
to
stop
say.
blaming.
No, it is not this generation, is how or the resources that you want to give your kids.
Right.
It is not about having the money or no, I have to do three jobs to just feed my kids. Yes, we understand. I'm totally sympathetic with all that, but there's also resources that you
Right.
can tap into.
Definitely.
Elevate your kids so that they can be better.
That's what it is. That's what it is. One child at a time. So, yeah, you asked what's next, and I'm being asked that question so much after since the symposium. The even on Sunday, my phone wouldn't stop ringing with congratulations and can
Yeah.
we partner on this? Can we partner on that? And I need some time, of course, to decompress.
No,
And
no, you need time to decompress. You need
yes,
time
but I
to
still need
take
to.
it all in. You need time to get
Yeah,
down from cloud nine.
yeah, I'm down. I'm ready. I'm ready because these kids still face those issues. And of course, it's never about me. Although uh, Saturday was such a great event, it wasn't about me. It was the we, it was the village.
Yeah.
And we need to continue that work. So have a couple of things in mind. The councilwoman wants to continue to do some work. She's big on women, girls empowerment. So we'll definitely connect Power of the Hills with the
Thank
councilwoman,
you.
and you'll get more than just the Grace group of girls that's no longer you'll get more girls from the community. And you'll
Correct, because we open it up to a lot of girls, and now we have some girls even coming from South Miami.
oh
So
wow.
last month we had girls from 4 different schools.
Wow. Yes. So I think and I'm going to continue my role as the connector. I'm going to continue connecting organizations,
Yes,
and I hope the Sierra Club, have you guys set a date yet?
not yet.
Okay, I would let I'd love to see the girls out canoeing and
We
snorkeling.
would love to.
And Sierra Club is a great organization. They provide lunch, they provide
Yes,
everything, except transportation, of course.
I
But
will take care of that.
yep, so there are definitely also schools here. And again, the councilwoman connecting you with her and seeing, if you could have footprints in Miami Gardens would be great as well.
I would love to.
Yeah, so
Dr. Francois, thank you so much.
thank you for having me.
Continue to continue building the legacy that you
I will.
started.
And you're a part of,
Continue putting everyone together for the betterment of society.
thank you so much for having me, and thank you for being a part of this legacy that we're building.
To everyone, stay safe, have a wonderful week, and above all, let there be peace.
Amen.